Hello and welcome everyone to our 5-day masterclass, The Money Mindset. How is everyone today? Welcome back to those of you who have participated with us since yesterday. And for those of you who are brand new to our masterclass, I wanted to congratulate you because your life will never be the same. The information and the principles that we are here to share with you this week is life changing. If you really pay attention and give us 100% of your focus without any distractions, and then you start applying those principles into your life on a daily basis, I can guarantee you that they can contribute to your life being transformed like nothing before. So, for those of you who have been with us for a while, please do say hello in the chat box. And for those of you who have joined us today for the first time, please do say hello and let us know where you are joining us from. We have such an incredible international community, and we are right now currently streaming on 3 different platforms. So if you are watching us on YouTube and LinkedIn, welcome. And you can ask questions, but we will check those questions after the sessions. For those of you who are watching us in our private group on Facebook, you can ask questions as we go. So it's more interactive here on Facebook. So if you'd like to participate live, please do consider joining our group on Facebook. Link below this video. So welcome back everyone once again. And today we have an incredible topic to talk about. We're going to talk about confidence. We're going to talk about cybernetic mechanism. We're going to solve some of the questions that some of you may have about why some people seem to be more confident and others not. Maybe it's you who would want to boost your confidence because you feel that you need it to achieve more in life. Maybe it's personal achievements, maybe it's professional, maybe it's achievements in the area of money, maybe it's achievements in the area of your business. Maybe you want to take your business to the next level. Maybe you've had that idea on your mind wanting to open up your business and you feel that something is missing, and what is really missing is that confidence to trust in yourself and follow your gut feeling and go after what you truly desire. Maybe you think that you used to have lots of confidence and something has happened in the past decade or so, and that confidence has fizzled out. Maybe the last couple of years made you feel very uncertain and you are losing your confidence because of the uncertainty, because of what's happening around us. So, if you can resonate with any of these questions, this is the session for you. And please do feel free to ask questions if you are in our mastermind group on Facebook, because we are here to help you on your journey towards your personal growth and development. So, confidence. What is confidence and how confident you are? So, hello, Kion. Really great to have you with us. So, thank you so much for saying hello in the chat box. And please do remember that the more you are active, the more you're participating, the better the more you're going to retain this information. So please do get rid of all distractions for that 1 hour and pay 100% attention, because this information will change your life. At least will clarify some of the questions you might have. So now, confidence. What is confidence and how do we get that confidence? Sometimes when I speak to people, I come across certain statements that people think that confidence is a skill, something you are born with or without, something you have or you do not have. But what confidence really is a state of mind, and you can change it. you can shift it. So you can boost your confidence through certain tips and tools which you apply them into your life. And when you are working on your confidence using certain tools and tips we're going to share with you today, then your confidence will be boosted. So it's a state of mind, which means that it depends how you see yourself on that subconscious level. Something we're going to talk about in more detail today as well. Now, where do we get our confidence? How do we gain that level of confidence, either as a very strong confidence or maybe the lack of confidence? How do we actually get that level of confidence? So, for those of you who might have any thoughts, please do feel free to share with us. What do you think? What is confidence? How do we get our confidence? Is it a skill? Is it something that we can learn, relearn, or is it something that you believe you are born with or without? So please do feel free to share in the chat box with your thoughts. And now, when you try to understand confidence and how to become more confident, what we're going to do is we're going to go back in time a little bit. So we're going to go back to 1960s, where Dr. Maxwell Maltz has made one of the biggest discoveries of his generation. So he was a plastic surgeon, and what he had discovered was something absolutely outstanding. Now, before we go on to the details of his discovery, I would like you to think about this one question. What do you think has almost an exclusive control over your behavior? And what do you think has almost an exclusive control over the results that you produce? So, what I mean by this is your income, is the level of your relationships, is the level of your happiness, it's your health and well being. What do you believe causes? What is the primary cause of your results? So I would like to pause for a second here and just give it further thought. This is something I will encourage you to do today, because only when you think about this information, how this applies into your life, this is where you can truly transform your life, because you can only change when you know what to change within yourself. And that only happens when you understand yourself. What do you do? How do you do it? What might be stopping you from going further, from achieving more with less effort and time? So, what we share here with you is not about working harder. It's not about going towards exhaustion and feeling overwhelmed. It's all about shifting your mindset in a way that you can accomplish more in less time. And this is the information that has changed my life about 7 years ago. So I have a true privilege to be sharing this information with you today and this week. So now, when it comes to your confidence and your results, what creates the results in your life? So, in order for each and one of you to have a deeper understanding, what we have to do, we have to talk about the basics when it comes to self image psychology. Self image is something that Maxwell Maltz had discovered in 1960s, and he said that we have two self images. So, what it means is basically when he was working with his patients, and he was a plastic surgeon and he was performing a surgery on his patients. So, basically, somebody came to him and said, I don't like my scar on my face, or I don't like the shape of my nose, or I don't like whatever people were bothered by. Dr. Maxwell Maltz would remove that scar, or he would change the shape of the nose, so the person would be really happy with the results. And he said on the last appointment, what he has noticed that a lot of his patients have come back feeling and looking more confident because they have that great result, visible result performed, and they were happier with themselves. So they said that he definitely have noticed that confidence boost. However, he said this was not always the case. Sometimes he had patients who would come back to him, and even though the surgery would be performed really well, he said there would be no change in person's behavior whatsoever. So that has led him to this discovery of his generation, probably the greatest psychological discovery in 1900, that we do have two self images. So the first self image is, how do you see yourself in the mirror? So when you look in the mirror, you've got a reflection of yourself. So that is your physical you. So you see your face, you see your body, you either like yourself or you don't, but this is your body. So that's the physical you. However, he said, that is not real you, because the real you is something a lot more powerful. This is where your confidence comes from. This is where is that powerhouse that literally has almost an exclusive control over your behavior, and your behavior creates your results. So he said what we do really have within our subconscious mind is that inner self image. And that inner self image is much more powerful than our outer self image, that reflection in the mirror. So just think about it. Let's pause here and think about it for a moment. We have two self images. The first one is the reflection of ourselves in the mirror, and the second one is the inner self image that is locked up in the treasury of our subconscious mind. And that inner self image is a lot more powerful than the outer self image. When you come across certain people and you look at them and they might look very good. So maybe if you come across certain females, they might be beautiful, they might be well dressed, they might be well spoken, and straight away we think, wow, they are so good looking and well dressed and well spoken. They must be very confident. And the same happen with males. You might come across someone who is very handsome, well dressed, well spoken, and straight away we make that judgment. This is what happens within milliseconds, so we don't even have control over it. We have that prejudgment of that person. If they are a certain way, they must be very successful, or they must be very confident, or they must be very happy. However, that first impression, as you may notice, if you had a chance to get to know that person a little bit more, you probably have noticed that this is not always the case. We don't always have an occasion to get to know that person a little bit more, but if we do, we may learn that this is not always the case. Have you come across situations like this in your life, in your past? Because I have. And this always have puzzled me. Why certain people with certain physical characteristics are unhappy, unsuccessful, or lack confidence, thinking they're not good enough, or they're not good looking as well. I've come across loads of people, males and females, who are very presentable. Yet again, they were saying they don't feel like they are beautiful or good looking. And that used to puzzle me because I was thinking, this makes no sense whatsoever. And Dr. Maxwell Maltz's discovery now puts everything together like a puzzle. So if you can resonate with this example, please give me 2 thumbs up in the chat box that you can resonate with it, that you have come across certain people where you thought they were a certain way, and then when you had a chance to perhaps work with them or maybe get to know them a bit, sometimes, not always, sometimes the case was quite the opposite. So what really has happened is that inner self-image produces the results for that person. That inner self-image, what it means is how the person perceives themselves on a subconscious level. So either confident or not, do they lack confidence or not? It's all not because of the way they look, but because of how they feel in a subconscious level. And that is something to do with inner self-image. So that inner self-image almost exclusively controls your life. So controls your life in terms of your finance, in terms of your success, in terms of your relationships, in terms of your well-being and happiness. It's all down to that inner self-image. And that inner self-image can be compared to cybernetics. So, what is cybernetics? How many of you have heard about cybernetics before? If you have, please put in the chat box cybernetics if you have heard about cybernetics. If you haven't, then we're going to go on to this in more detail now. So, what is cybernetics? Cybernetics is a science of control and communication in some of the machines. So, what it means is basically, what does it do? It measures the deviation from a set goal, and when it detects that deviation, it communicates it with the control system, and it puts whatever it's going towards that goal, it puts it back on that set goal. So a great example is a plane or a rocket. So it's been said that a rocket always finds its way to the moon, and 99% of the time the rocket is off course. So basically, it doesn't just go straight toward that set goal. The coordinates that were input in a set goal, in a destination, but most of the time is going off course. So it's pretty much going like this. But because of the cybernetic mechanism, the built-in cybernetic mechanism, that mechanism detects the deviation from a set goal, communicates it with the control system, and puts that rocket back on the set course. So that's why the rocket always gets to the moon. Another great example is a plane. So the moment the plane takes off, it's then put on autopilot. So what it means is the pilot doesn't have to control the plane all the time. It just puts it on autopilot, and because of the built-in cybernetic mechanism, the plane goes from A to B because of that cybernetic mechanism. Now, when it comes to paradigms is something that we have in our subconscious mind. So paradigms is like a programming. So it's a multitude of habits and ideas we hold about ourselves, and it's all locked up in a treasury of our subconscious mind. Paradigms and cybernetics run by the same principles. So now this may not make much sense to you right now, but what it does do is basically whatever is a set goal in a person's subconscious mind. So the set goal could be the amount of money they earn. The set goal could be the level of happiness, the level of relationships. That is a set goal set up in the person's subconscious mind, and self-image, being a cybernetic mechanism, always makes sure that it doesn't deviate from that set goal. Now, how did we get those set goals? How do we actually get those set goals in our subconscious mind? Well, it all happens as a process. So when we grow up and we go through our childhood being exposed to our environment, so our parents, our teachers, our preachers, certain friends, family, we are being programmed. We're being programmed with certain belief system. So some of the belief system, for example, when it comes to money, might be that you need to work very hard in order to be successful, or money doesn't grow on trees, or in order for you to be having a very successful career, you have to be very smart. You have to be very smart, so then you can go into a very good university. So then you can have a good job. So then you can make a lot of money. So these are the beliefs that are passed on to us from generation to generation. And these are not our beliefs, they are basically passed on to us through the repetition, through our environment. How many of you possess those beliefs that you need to work hard in order to be successful? How many of you have grown up with the belief that you have to be very smart in order to be very successful? If you have, please give me 2 thumbs up in the chat box, because these were some of the beliefs I grew up with. And those beliefs, the subconscious beliefs, were literally running the show of my life. So those subconscious beliefs, because they were a part of my self-image, they're a part of my subconscious mind, they had almost an exclusive control over my behavior. And my behavior, when it came to decisions, certain decisions in my life, I've always used that logic. I've always thought, okay, well, that's what I think I should do in order for this to happen. And that's how I led my life. I remember when I was told that you need to be very smart to then go to the university, and you have to have a degree in order to get a good job. So that's exactly what I did in my life. Even though I've had few years of break during my studies, my cybernetic mechanism was set, the goal was set to finish the university, to have a degree, because without that degree, I would not be able to get a job. So, what has actually happened during a couple of years of break? That was one of my reasons to go back to the university, because I had that set goal that unless I have a degree, I will not be able to get a good job and therefore create that financial freedom. So, that cybernetic mechanism dictates your decision making process. That cybernetic mechanism, which is a part of your paradigm, so is the same, works the same way as the paradigm, that also has an exclusive control over your results. So 96% of the time we operate on autopilot. What it means by autopilot is that you pretty much are doing things because of your logic, and your logic is based on your paradigms, so your belief system, your habits, and your inner self-image. Another great example would be, for many of people, me including some time ago, is that I could never be a business owner because in my subconscious beliefs, so at my paradigm, I had a belief that in order to be a business owner, you have to be very, very smart. You have to have a certain way of thinking. And I didn't even know what it meant. But what I did know is that I definitely didn't have that certain way of thinking. So I didn't even give myself a chance to be starting a business. I didn't even think about having my own business 10 years ago, 10, 15 years ago, because that was not a set goal for myself. I didn't grow up in the environment thinking, well, that, having a business owner, you have to be just thinking in a certain way and anybody can do it with the right mindset. I grew up in the environment as majority of population that in order for you to be successful, you have to have a very good education, a formal education. And I grew up in the environment where people didn't have just one degree, they had 2 degrees. They even had 3 degrees. So that automatically put me in a mindset of, well, this is not going to happen for me because of my pre-programmed beliefs. How many of you can resonate with this? How many of you can resonate with this idea that you have certain programming done during your growing up times, during your educational system that had prejudged certain decisions of yours? How many of you can resonate? So if you can, please let us know in the chat box that you can resonate with this. So now, what can we do? What I'm going also to do is to explain it better so you have a better understanding of the paradigm and the cybernetic mechanism. I'm going to share with you with certain slides. So just bear with me one moment, please. Okay, so now, as you can see this picture right here, just bear with me 1 second. We're just opening up this one here. Okay, so now as you can see this drawing here, we call this a stick person. So a stick person is something that Dr. Thurman Fleet has come up with. And what he did say is, in order for people to understand why certain people behave certain way, we have to go to the primary cause of the results. So what happens in majority of corporations and what happens in majority of our lives is that if we want to change our results, we put a lot of impact on our behavior. So we think that we have to change our behavior and we force our behavior to certain activities that are not aligned with our subconscious programming. So I used to work in a corporation and I used to be a mortgage consultant. And it was a sales orientated environment. And I was very bad at it because I completely lacked confidence in speaking with people. I had a very negative attitude when it came to selling. So I had that prejudged concept of salespeople. I always thought they are trying to be sneaky and trying to sell you something that you don't want. So I had that content and concept of the salesperson in a very negative way. And there I was being a sales mortgage consultant, and what we were forced to do, almost being bullied to do, is to make those phone calls, is to create a calendar full of appointments. And we were sent for 3 to 5 weeks training. So we were giving a strategy. We were told what to do. We were told a script. We were taught a script. We were given a script. We were given all the strategy needed. So we were basically forced to make those phone calls, X amount of phone calls every single day. Now, imagine what happens to a person like myself who had lack of confidence with speaking to anyone on the phone or face to face, and who had a very negative perception when it came to salespeople. Imagine to what happens to a person like that. If you work in sales, you probably come across a lot of people like that, where you tell them what to do, you show them what to do, you send them out for a sales training, you give them the best strategy because it's been proven by one of the best people in your company, perhaps. Yet again, these people are still not performing. So what happens is we try to treat the secondary cause of the results, which is the behavior. So we try to change the behavior. We try to force the behavior without understanding that the behavior is only the secondary cause of the results. So this is something that Dr. Thurman Fleet said. And he said, if we want to change the person's results permanently, we need to go to the primary cause of the results, and that is that subconscious mind and inner self-image. And what he also said is that we operate in pictures, we think in pictures. So in order for us to really go to the primary cause of the results, we need an image. We need an image of the mind. So he has come up with this drawing right here, this big head split in half on the conscious and subconscious mind and the body. And he had, this is a stick person, and this represents each and one of you. Now, in order for you to understand what is going on in your mind, especially in your subconscious mind, we are going to briefly talk about the difference between conscious and subconscious mind. But I would like you to think about yourself for 1 second. And I would like you to think about your dreams and goals and desires. And what did you want to achieve this year, 2021? And what you have actually achieved. And when 2022 is just around the corner, what sort of dreams and desires and goals do you have for yourself for next year? And without understanding what holds you back, without understanding how to permanently change your results, what do you think is going to happen next year? Because what happens is that majority of people are hoping and wishing that something different will happen for them next year. All these New Year's resolutions come without understanding how the results are created. So this is the picture for you right now. This stick person represents each and one of you right now. You are that stick person. You have a conscious mind and you have a subconscious mind and you have the body. And what happens is that in your subconscious mind, you have that inner self-image. That inner self-image, it's like a powerhouse. And even though this picture shows you that it's kind of like conscious mind and subconscious mind is kind of like half, the truth is that conscious mind is 4% of your mind. And the subconscious mind, where your self-image is about 96% of your mind. That's why your subconscious mind has almost an exclusive control over your behavior, because subconscious mind is 96% against your conscious mind. So what happens is that your actions control your results. So your results, what we mean by results, like we've already mentioned it, is what we mean by results is your income, is your performance. If you're in sales, for example, that is your performance, that's your results. If you are a business owner, so whatever your business is producing on a weekly basis, on monthly basis, these are your results. If you are, for example, trying to change the level of your happiness, relationship, and anything in your life, so it literally, it's a result in every area of your life, and your actions, so your behavior, control your results. I think it's not a rocket science, right? Your behavior controls your results. Now, what has an exclusive control over your behavior is right here, this inner self-image, that powerhouse. Because the biggest difference, there's so much we could talk about the difference between conscious and subconscious mind, but the biggest difference between the two is that your conscious mind is your thinking mind, is your intellectual mind, that is your educated mind. However, your subconscious mind is where your paradigms are. So your paradigms, as you may remember from this session today, the paradigm is a multitude of habits, belief system, and your inner self-image. There's a lot going on. And now, when you go through your educational system, when you are sent out for that sales training, all of this information resides in your conscious mind. So you gather information throughout your higher education, throughout your sales training, even if you want to go on a diet, what should you do? All of this gathering information is happening in your conscious mind. And the problem is that we have been raised to believe that if we know something, that is good enough and that produces the results. But we were trained to believe that this one is true because of your schooling system, because you knew the answer to the question during the exam, you got a good grade. Because you knew the answers to the questions during your finals, you got a degree. So we've been trained to believe that knowing is enough, that knowing produces the results because you got a degree or 2 or 3 degrees. So we've been trained and programmed to believe that if I know something, that means that I'm going to produce those results. But the reality is very different. When you go and work, or maybe you are a business owner, so you have employees, so maybe you are a director and you have staff that you have to train, maybe you are a manager and you have certain people that you also trying to train and help and support. And you've probably noticed that you might be having the most well-educated people in your team, but it doesn't guarantee that those well-educated people will be as good, each and one of them, as productive, as efficient as you would have hoped or imagined when you hired them. So what happens is we hire people based on the paper, based on their educational level, thinking, well, if they are so good because they've graduated from X, Y, and Z university, they must be also very good at what they do. And sometimes it's the case, but not always. And then you might come across someone who is not as well educated, yet again, they're very productive, they're very effective, they're very efficient, they're very creative. So this is something that used to puzzle me a lot because I've come across a lot of people like that. People that were well educated and not performing, and people who were not that well educated and they were brilliant. So that puzzles majority of people. But this is your answer right here. Because of the conscious mind is only 4%, this is where you gather information. It has nothing to do with your results. Nothing to do. Even though you might be still thinking, well, if I know how to make it happen, yes, I'm going to make it happen. But that's not the case. And I really wanted to be honest about it in your life. Think about it. How many times you said to yourself, this is what I want to do, and unless you have certain habits in place, unless you're self-disciplined, unless you've already been very successful, so you already have that certain mindset with habits, with belief system, you might have a very high confidence. Unless you have all of these, you're not going to perform as well as you want to. That's why so many people get stuck and so many people get confused because they think that once they know something, once they are provided with a great strategy, they should be able to perform, they should be able to create those results. So let's look at your self-image and cybernetic mechanism. As you may remember, and hopefully now you see the correlation between the two, so your self-image is a cybernetic instrument. Let's think about it a little bit deeper. So now you are here as this sick person. You've got your subconscious mind that has an exclusive, almost an exclusive control over your results. And in your subconscious mind, you have your inner self-image. So now, let's say that you produce certain results. That's what we do. Everybody produces certain results. Some of them might be very good, some of them not so good. But you produce certain results because of your behavior. And then what happens is maybe you see yourself a bit overweight. So I guess this is something that maybe each and one of us have come across at some point in their life. So let's say you think, I'm overweight. I would like to look better. I would like to feel better. So what happens? So you see yourself overweight. What happens? You make a decision to go on a diet. So decision is made, I'm going on a diet. And that will probably happen a lot in about a month, because the new year will come, New Year's resolutions, full people will be going on a diet, people will be changing their life forever. That's what happens. The decision is made, I'm going on a diet, probably from 1st of January, maybe 2nd of January. So the decision is made. But what happens is that that decision is made in your conscious mind, in your intellectual mind. So what normally happens is people read about a certain diet and they say, okay, so I'm going to go for keto diet or for whatever diet there are, and they follow a diet. So they are given certain directions on how to follow a diet. So they follow that direction. They probably eat less sugar, less fat, maybe drink less alcohol and all of that. And they lose some weight. They do. It's incredible. However, what happens usually 3-4 weeks into it, maybe a month and a half into it, what happens is that weight is actually coming back. And why this happens? Because when the person who is overweight goes on a diet without altering their self-image, so the way they see themselves, even though a person might be following the perfect instructions A to Z, if they see themselves in their subconscious mind, in their inner self-image as an overweight person, that is the set goal for the cybernetic mechanism being your paradigm. A set goal is how you see yourself. You have a picture of yourself in your subconscious mind. So even though if you're on a diet and you still feel and you still see yourself as overweight, any weight loss will be temporary. The self-image, being a cybernetic instrument, measures the deviation. So that self-image of yours measures the deviation. You're losing weight, and your set goal in your subconscious mind is being overweight. You see yourself as an overweight person. So that is the set goal. So your self-image, being a cybernetic instrument, sees that deviations, measures that deviations, communicated with the control system, which is your subconscious mind, and from that set goal, and immediately corrects course. So the weight that was lost is found. So this might be something that many people can resonate with who were on a diet, who gone on a diet. I've actually used to know personally few people who've been always on a diet. Since I've known them years and years and years, they've always been on some sort of diet. And it seems like they've never lost that weight like permanently. It was always a temporary loss. But then later on, they found a new diet. So they were like, okay, I'm going to change this diet, and this diet is going to be better. And then it's the same cycle. It's the same cycle because that person is forcing their behavior. It's forcing the change of behavior. I'm not going to eat certain foods. I'm not going to eat chocolate. I'm not going to eat sugar. I'm not going to drink alcohol. And it's still seeing themselves as an overweight person. So That deviation mechanism is being set on the goal that you see yourself as, and that's why that weight always comes back. So that weight loss is never a long term, it's always a short term loss. Now, when it comes to, for example, another case where you want more money, so you want to be earning more money. So maybe you're in sales and you say, okay, I really want to now be earning more money. So I want to be selling more, because you see people around yourself in your company, perhaps in your team, who are making it happen. And you think, well, if they can do it and we are using the same strategy, if they can do it, then I can do it. So you want more money, you want to make more sales. So what happens is you make a decision. In your intellectual mind, you make a decision. I want to be earning more money. But now, understanding that your decision is being made in your conscious mind, which is your intellectual mind, that is the mind that gathers information. That's the mind that you know how to do it, because you have a script, you have a strategy, proven strategy, you are given a solution, you think you know it. But as you may now understand, your results are controlled not by what you know, but what you do. And the doing part, your behavior, is almost exclusively controlled by your subconscious programming. And in your subconscious programming, you've got your inner self image. So the case that if you make more money or not, it's not up to how much you know, it's not up to what strategy you have, it's not up to, as many companies invest in this best strategy out there. The amount of money you're going to earn will be in the exact proportion of how you see yourself on a subconscious level when it comes to money. So the question here is, it's not that do you have the right strategy? Do you know what to do? But the question here is, what image are you holding of yourself when it comes to money? And that is a totally new topic. What sort of beliefs do you have when it comes to money? What sort of habits do you have when it comes to money? What sort of self-image you have when it comes to money? Do you see yourself as a successful person financially? Do you see yourself as a wealthy person? When you see other wealthy person, do you respect them, or do you think, oh, they're probably crooks? Do you treat your money with respect, or do you have bad habits? Do you spend more than you earn? Do you always live on your credit card? Do you always like spend a lot of money at the beginning of the month, and at the end of the month you don't have the money? So it's all reflecting your habits, and the habits is a part of your paradigm. Do you believe that you have to work hard for the money? Because if you do, that might be a belief in your self image, in your subconscious paradigm, that will be sabotaging your behavior. Because some people, even though they say they want to earn more money, but because they have this pre programmed belief that they have to work hard, they automatically sabotaging that potential success, because they think, I don't want to work hard. I don't want to be doing overtime. I want to be spending more time with my family, perhaps. So automatically you have these beliefs that are sabotaging your success, because one of your beliefs perhaps might be that you believe that in order for you to make a lot of money, to earn a lot of money, you have to be working hard, and you don't want to. So you'll be sabotaging your success. So what it means is, though, even though you know what to do, even though you know you have to call X amount of people per day, even though you know how to speak to people, or you have a script, you will not go through those calls. You will find all the excuse possible not to make that phone call. You'll be procrastinating it. You'll be finding yourself busy with other stuff, answering emails, or whatever you have on your list to do that's not as important as making calls, because of that resentment, because of your inner self-image is holding you back where you are, because your set goal is not to make more money. Your set goal is for the money you have right now. Because right now, for each and one of you right now, your current income, you earn your current income not because that's what you want. It's because this is what you are comfortable with in your subconscious level. So the person that earns 25K a year doesn't earn 25K a year because they want it, or that reflects their intelligence or the level of their education. None of this matters. Is because this is how they know how to do subconsciously. This is how they feel comfortable with it. The person who earns 100K is the same case, not because that's what they want to earn, it's because that's what they feel comfortable with. The person that earns 500,000 a year is the same. They know because they're comfortable with it, inner self-image. So that is the primary cause of your result. Your self-image is a cybernetic instrument, and that almost exclusively controls your behavior. Does this make a lot of sense to you? Would you say that now, when you think about a self-image, when you think about a cybernetic mechanism that works with the same principles as your paradigm, when you think about what did you want to achieve this year and what you actually have achieved, do you now see that there's a lot of sense when it comes to that inner self-image, that certain things that you knew how to do, you either did it for a very short period of time, maybe calling people every day, maybe contacting people, maybe you've done it for a week, maybe two, but then because your set goal was not set for that success, you actually went back to your old habitual way of being because that was your set goal. If you can, let me know in the chat box, give me 3 thumbs up, and you can say, yes, that is definitely something that has helped me to understand why am I not producing the results I really want to, consciously and intellectually. Why am I not producing the results that I believe I can? Because of your inner self-image. So now, if you really want to change your results in any area of your life, be it finance, relationship, well-being, happiness, whatever it is, be aware that you cannot force your behavior to change. You cannot be forcing your behavior to do things that are not aligned with your inner goal, with your set goal, because your paradigm, being a cybernetic mechanism, will detect that deviation, even though you're going to be producing different results for a few weeks. But if you do not shift your inner self-image, so the way you see yourself subconsciously, no matter how hard you try, no matter how much you know, no matter what sort of strategy you are investing in or you are given, that subconscious programming will sabotage your success. So your behavior will not be reflecting what you really desire, because your behavior always reflects what's going on in your subconscious mind. And your current results right now are the reflection of your inner self-image. So if you ever wonder, what is my self-image? What is my inner self-image? Check your results right now. Check your bank account. Ask yourself, are you happy or not? Ask yourself, do you have fulfilling relationships or not? Because all of these results right now, results always tell a very interesting story. Your results right now always tell where you are programmed with your inner self-image when it comes to this area of your life. So now, if you see, okay, these are my results, but I want more than that, what do I have to do? You have to shift your inner self-image first in your subconscious mind, rather than trying to force your behavior, rather than trying to force your behavior, because you will know now and understand that this will be only a temporary shift. But if you want to create permanent results and change your results permanently, you need to go into the primary cause of the results, which is your inner self-image. So you have to almost go and ask yourself, what is that I truly desire? Create that new successful you. What sort of characteristic would you have? How would you be dressed? What would you feel? How would you talk? All of this is a process of shifting your self-image. And then through more techniques that we're going to be sharing with you this week, through more techniques on a subconscious level, through the repetition and application of those techniques and the understanding of the material that we are sharing with you this week, you will then start shifting your inner self-image. And when you do so over a certain period of time, the changes, the results that you're going to be creating will be permanent. So that is the power of your inner self-image. That's the power of your paradigm being a cybernetic mechanism. So now what I would like you to do is, after the session, really sit down and really think about yourself and your results. Think about, first of all, where you are right now. Just put an R on the paper as the results and think about your finance, your relationship, your well-being, and where you are right now. And then make a decision, where do you want to be? And start feeling as that person, start being that person within yourself first. So then you can start shifting your inner self-image, which will then have that change of behavior when it comes to creating long-term results. So that's what I would like you to do today after this session. And if you enjoyed the session, please let us know in the chat box if you had an aha moment, if you had something that really helped you to realize certain things and connect certain puzzles, put it as a whole, then please let us know in the chat box as well. If you have any questions or would like us to clarify or make anything more, to elaborate on anything, please do let us know as well. So questions are always welcome. So this is it for today, guys. Thank you so much for being here with us. I think I'm just getting notices that we are having some technical issues, unfortunately, on Facebook in our private group. So hopefully you'll find your way to streaming on YouTube or LinkedIn. But I've just got messages that we are not visible on Facebook for some reason, technical reason. So hopefully you found us on LinkedIn or YouTube and you can watch the replay afterwards. Thanks again so much for watching. Have a beautiful evening, and I look forward to seeing you tomorrow at 7 p.m. UK time. And once again, check Facebook. If we're not on it, then just go straight to LinkedIn or YouTube. Thank you so much for listening, and I'll look forward to seeing you tomorrow. And tomorrow we're going to have another incredible topic, and we'll talk about the number one cause of failure, which is quite an incredible topic. So thank you so much, and I'll see you tomorrow. Take care.